To say that the story of Maximum Football is complicated is an understatement. But in today's video, what I'm going to attempt to do is to show the journey of Maximum Football, a game that started this trek all the way back in 1998. But here we are in 2024, when the game seems to finally be reaching its true vision. Now, Maximum Football is a game that began its journey in 1998 when David Winter, whom through his private firm, Winter Valley Software, obtained the rights to publish and produce CFL branded games. He formed CDE, Canadian Digital Entertainment, for the purpose of publishing and marketing his Canadian football game, which would be titled CFL Football 99. Now at this time, Sierra Front Page Sports Football Series dominated the PC market, but in 1999, the game attempted to upgrade the game's graphics and presentation just to compete with the Madden franchise, and guess what? They effectively broke their game. From annoying graphical glitches to menus not loading, the game was completely broken and mostly unplayable. In January of 1999, the game was recalled and customers were given the choice of whether they wanted a full refund or keep their broken piece of Front Page Sports Football Pro 99. Now, this is what happens when you try to rush the process. Front Page Sports already had built a community that enjoyed the way the game played. They enjoyed it for all of its management options and ongoing in-game franchise tracking of stats that was nowhere present in any Madden or any other football title at this time in the market. They made the mistake of not trusting their audience and slowly bringing about these changes and upgrades over time. Now, this is a prime example of not continuing to build upon your audience and catering to that which is new. Now, looking to fill the void left by Front Page Sports Football, CFL 99 launched the mixed reviews. The simulation football crowd knew that the game had unlimited potential, but the casual audiences hungered for the less based in realism gameplay and simplicity of Madden and other console football games of the time. In 2001, the project was rebranded as Maximum Football and would feature a modern 3D engine and also tout customization as one of its main focal points. The game also allowed players to define their own rule sets, reshape the size of the field from arena football to Canadian football fields to regular American football, all types of leagues. Maximum Football was released in 2006 after many years of development. The 2006 version of Maximum Football looked to focus on the coaching aspect of football first and foremost. The game offered the same ability to play the game arcade style, but the game's primary focus area was simulation based. It was more focused on coaching decisions, play calls, and personnel on the field. Players on the field would react based on their attributes in conjunction with the play calls of the coach/user. This version also had I do believe it was the initial release and the 1.0 version, which came along with a lot and many of the fixes that made this game unique. Now, here's some of the features that this game had in 2006. The game had player salary and basic contract information, 16 individual ratings over and above things like height, weight, and age. It had statistical categories for passing, rushing, receiving, special teams, defensive teams, and also others. Now, I know you're saying, yeah, there's a lot of other games that had this at the time, but also it had user-definable leagues that allowed you to structure them in 1 to 4 conferences with 1 to 4 divisions per conferences. Players were able to manually create players or have automatically generated players. They had a free agent draft system. The game also had its own customizable playbooks. Each team could have its own unique playbook. You were also able to create and edit formations and plays for offense, defense, and special teams. It was a system, kind of like what Front Page Sports had in it, where you could lay out the formation, you could set the route of the player, and it had points. And at each one of these points, you could assign a scripted command to each point. It wasn't like, okay, here's the route, you drop it in. They expanded upon that. You were also able to save these routes and include them in other plays. Gave you a quick preview mode, which allowed you to watch the player movements throughout the play to make sure that it was correct. And it also had a full practice mode, which allowed you to take your team to the field and, play with these plays to see if they work or not. And there's a whole bunch of other features, which I won't get into, or this video would be 5 hours long. In 2017, Canadian Football 2017 was released by Canuck Play. The team was once again led by David Winter, whom was the driving force behind the previously released Maximum Football and CFL Football 99. The game received a lot of pre-release hype due to the fact that at this time, the Madden franchise had become unridiculously stale and college football was no longer on the market. This game, however, did not feature the CFL license, but it did feature all of the 9 cities that the franchises were based in. Uncharacteristic of previously released games behind David Winter, this game lacked depth. And yeah, you could edit and create plays, but beyond that, there wasn't much there. From clunky handling of players to bugged AI, the game was more of just a glamorized demo. I'm not speaking ill on it. I'm just stating what the game actually was. At this time, you can even go to Steam and download the game and play it for yourself for around, I do believe, $4. Not going to spend too much time speaking about this game, but this game is part of the legacy of Maximum Football. The next year, the game will revert back to its original name, which is Maximum Football. But in this version of the game, it still held a lot of the issues that held back Canadian football, which it only allowed you to play one season. And it still had a lot of the rough gameplay issues that plagued the Canadian football title. So we won't spend too much time on 2018. There's plenty of information out there on the internet for you to find if you're interested in more. So that moves us to Doug Flutie's Maximum Football 2019, still under the banner of Canuck Play. This game featured college football, which had been missing from the landscape for almost 4 years at that time. This game had a lot of promise to it. The Dynasty mode was very deep, but the menus were clunky. The loading times were absolutely ridiculous, but the recruiting and the depth that was involved in it, from all the little quirks that the recruits had, the reasons they wouldn't take your calls, the reasons they came to your school, it was very impressive for the small team that put this game together. So Maximum Football 2019, Doug Flutie's Maximum Football 2019, did have a lot of promise. And for those of us who were craving for the college football experience, it was looking to provide that, although it did not deliver on all points, which moves us on to the next release, which is Maximum Football 2020, which honestly, in my opinion, was almost the same game. The graphics for the small team that put it together was quite impressive. The vision was there. All the things that you would want out of a college football game were in place. And the one place where it struggled mightily was in the gameplay area. The game was almost unplayable. You could find a little bit of joy after, some patches and updates, but you could see the potential there. But those of us who looked at it realistically knew that it was just a small development team, even though they were with Canuck Play, and it was going to take a lot for this game to be appealing to the masses. So finally, that brings us to where we are now. Now, this brings us to 2023 with the unveiling of the brand new Maximum Football underneath the direction of Modus Studios. This is before they had merged with Maximum Entertainment. Invictus Studios had taken David Winter's vision of a true football sandbox and added that extra that David never had, which was a full team at their disposal to actually make sure that the gameplay looked good. And for this reveal trailer in 2023, yes, it was quite the transformation from what we had seen underneath the guidance of David Winter at Canuck Play and previous Maximum Footballs. To be more specific, Doug Flutie's Maximum Football. And you could just see, just through the animations and from the gameplay, it was leaps and bounds above anything that they had done before. And then ultimately that brings us to where we're at now. The beta has been over for a couple days now, and this is the current state of Maximum Football, staying true to that overall vision of David Winter, the ultimate football sandbox. Create any type of league that you want to. 2 games in one. You have college football and pro football to be revealed in the future of this game. Plenty of input from the community, and the developers actually listening to the input of the community, I think can only lead to great things for this game as we move forward. Maximum Football has had quite the journey to arrive to where it is at today, and it's a testament to those who look for true simulation football and for those whose visions persevere no matter what. And to think that this is a journey that began all the way back in 1998, and this is the game that we're going to have here in a couple months to start making our own leagues, creating our own content. I think it's a testament to the content creators and the actual community out there that Maximum Entertainment has been dedicated to bring this game across the finish line. And it has been quite the journey. But this is just a video that I want to get out there for those who aren't familiar with the history of Maximum Football and the route that it has taken to get to where we are today. I will be one that supports this indie developer, and I look forward to the future of Maximum Football. But until next time, it's been Smokin' Jay, and I will see you either in the ring or on the field.